I was considering doing a second one of those things to do in a lucid dream tier list, but I figured it would be probably better to just say all of the things I could think of to do in a lucid dream at once at one time to you, bro, so it's kind of all in one place. And I categorized all the things I could think of in kind of levels, and as the levels get higher, they get more complex, not like difficult, kind of just weirder things you wouldn't think of, some things I haven't really talked about before. A lot of them, even on the lower levels, I actually haven't done, but I'll still list them. The first level is kind of just surface level shit we've all done, or shit we all think of, like when you think of lucid dreaming, flying, sex, blah blah blah, the essentials, the shit we all need to do. But as they go, they kind of just get more and more interesting. But the first one, of course, is flying. Everyone does this. It's easy. We've all flown if we had a lucid dream because it's like the easiest thing to do. You kind of just take off and go flying. I will say, I've said this before, when I started flying in a lucid dream, I did actually have trouble with it. And I spent like several lucid dreams, bro, trying to get dream characters to help me fly. I fucking had flying lessons in my lucid dreams. And I would say the easiest way to fly if you have trouble is, of course, make sure you do reality check. Please make sure that you're actually in a fucking dream when you do this. But go to something really high, like go on the roof of a building, or just like stand on a box or a chair or some shit and just jump off it. And if you do this, of course, you don't want to like fall to your fucking death or like hurt yourself. So you kind of have to mentally force yourself to hold yourself up. And I found that like really helped flying. Anyways, I'm just gonna get on to the next one. I probably shouldn't fucking yap and explain how to do each one and whatever. And I guess remember that dream control is a lot about your expectations. So technically, when we think about dream control, side note, moving a building with your bare hands or destroying a fucking planet is technically the same as just spawning a little thing in your pocket or doing a really small thing, because it's like all in your mind, right? It's just your kind of expectations and your mental schemas stop you from doing some of the more complex things sometimes, whatever. But the second one, which you need to do in a lucid dream, bro, this isn't a magic power or something, but is piss. You need a fucking piss, okay? This kind of depends on your history of pissing in a dream. If you've pissed yourself in a dream recently, maybe don't do this. But there is something so fun for some reason about needing to piss in a dream and then realizing you're dreaming and then being able to piss and then not needing to piss anymore because you've just relieved yourself, and then you like wake up and then you go to the bathroom and then this is kind of weird, sorry, this sounds kind of weird, but like something about pissing in your lucid dreams to me is just fun. I don't have a piss kink or anything, I'm just saying it's like fun, okay? Anyways, the third thing to do, spawning dream characters. This is, of course, an essential skill that links in with a lot of other things. You know what it links in with, right? And a lot of people have different methods for spawning dream characters. For me, the number one thing I always did, which worked most of the time, was talking to a person as if they were already behind me, pretending they were already there, and then a lot of the times I turned around and they were actually there. Lots of people have different methods for spawning dream characters. Sometimes they imagine they're behind a door or around a corner. You can ask another dream character to spawn a dream character. See, there's lots of different ways to do all these dream skills and shit. There's lots of different ways to do them. Everyone will have different fucking things to do. Some people can just spawn dream characters right in front of them without doing anything else. The fourth one is looking in a mirror. Once again, not a power or anything, but I would recommend looking in a mirror. I need to stop talking quickly because this kind of, I think it helps with negative expectations, because on all the best things to do in a lucid dream list, they're always like, don't look in a mirror, or things not to do in a lucid dream list, don't look in a mirror. But look in a mirror because it will be interesting. Sometimes you may just look exactly the same as you do in real life. For me, I always just have messy hair when I look in a mirror, so it's interesting to see what you look like. It can also be used for like shapeshifting, which I'll talk about soon. I've seen some people also use mirrors as like portals, so they become lucid and go into a mirror and use that to teleport. So that's another interesting use case. The next one, taking control of nightmares. We're still on level 1 here. Taking control of nightmares is extremely good, especially if you become lucid in the middle of a nightmare, right? Because you obviously realize you're in a dream and can do anything you want. If I'm being chased by a monster or chased by some really weird person in a lucid dream, and then I realize, or in a normal dream, then I realize I am in a dream and become lucid, right? I just pretend that person or monster is really nice and my friend, and then that convinces my brain they're really nice, and then they become really nice. I remember I talked about this so many times. I did this with Slender Man. I just imagined Slender Man was like really cool, and he turned out to be a really nice guy. And the upper end of working through nightmares is working on trauma and helping your trauma if you have like PTSD or some shit. Although that can be kind of risky because I've seen some studies, of course, since dreams are kind of random, even if you have a lucid dream and you're trying to work through trauma or some shit like that, the dream can kind of go south and go in the wrong direction because they can be random. So I don't really know. I think you should only work on trauma in your lucid dreams if you have like really good dream control and are really good at controlling the dream. The next one is, of course, sex. That shit speaks for itself. Essential lucid dream activity. Every teenage boy that lucid dreams has done this, right? Now, I've not done this. I've done this a decent amount, okay, I'll admit. Not like too many times, but I'm also like low-key a fucking incel, so I don't know what like real sex is like, but it feels good in a dream. I've not really had complications with sex, because obviously once you become lucid, you can just fuck anyone or anything in sight, bro. The only complication I had with this lucid dream activity was the one time I went to get a blowjob and the person turned into a dinosaur. They turned into a dinosaur. That's the only complication I've had with that, bro. Next one, eating food, fucking fantastic. Although I will say, a lot of the times I've tried to eat food in a lucid dream, which I've not done too many times, it hasn't tasted of anything much. There was one time I ate chocolate chip cookies and they tasted like fucking chocolate chip cookies, bro. One of my famous quotes. That was so good. But yeah, eating food, good. Next one, still on level 1, following the plot. This is extremely fun when you're lucid, especially if you just realized you were dreaming in the middle of like a really fun dream. And so you obviously have kind of more choice to follow the plot because you know you're dreaming. The next one is getting ideas. Now, I've used this a lot. It's very useful. Of course, not all the ideas you get will always be amazing, and it depends on what kind of ideas and what you're trying to get. But for me, I just ask dream characters for ideas if I'm working on something in real life, bro. Or, you know what, I've seen a lot of people ask the sky something, or they ask God something in their lucid dreams. I've never done this because for some reason, every time I ask the sky something in a lucid dream, or I try to ask God something, I never get a fucking response, bro. Or ask your subconscious brain something, I never get a response from doing that. I don't know why. Now, we move on to level 2. These things are kind of still simple. You probably heard of most of them, but a little more interesting, sometimes more complex. And to start off level 2, we do shape-shifting, okay? Either shape-shifting into an animal or shape-shifting into a fucking object. You can shape-shift into an object or shape-shift into things like water, which I've done before, which of course I can't really describe properly, but it's funny because the only time you're going to experience shape-shifting into an animal or into a fucking object like a clock or some shit is either lucid dreaming or fucking drugs, bro. Either lucid dreaming or drugs. I don't think there's any other thing that will let you experience like shape-shifting into something, which is why it's fun as fuck. When I'm shape-shifting into an animal, I literally just pretend to be that animal like a fucking retard for like 10 seconds. And after I do that for a while, I become that animal. It is so fucking fun. And yeah, you can become an object. Next one, practicing skills. There's been studies showing that people who practice dart throwing, for example, in a lucid dream, and if they manage to throw the darts really well, they actually get better at dart throwing in real life. And that applies to any fucking skill you do in a lucid dream. Sports, piano playing, public speaking, of course, which is like some shit people talk about all the time. Practice public speaking in your lucid dreams. But that is a very good thing to do. And it's very easy to do, especially if you're doing something like practicing public speaking or some shit. Next one is hurting yourself. That's funny as fuck. Sorry, I'm like reading off the list. Hurting yourself, breaking your bones, etc., etc. Now, I can't lie. Low key, getting beat up makes me kind of horny, or like the thought of getting beat up makes me kind of horny. Um, so I remember when I was younger and I was lucid dreaming a lot. Sorry, I was trying to like get myself hurt and get people to like beat me up in my lucid dreams when I was like a teenager. And when I was like, even before I was a teenager, fucking hell, I was literally trying to get dream characters to beat me up, bro, to make me fucking horny. And I remember, honestly, a lot of the times I never really felt any pain in my lucid dreams, but there was this one time. Lock in, bro, lock in. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. There was this one time this guy started fucking beating me up and like hitting me, bro. That shit like actually was painful, and that did not make me horny, bro. That shit scared me. I was like running away in my lucid dream, and this guy was chasing me, trying to fucking beat me up. It was actually scary. I think I woke myself up because that was the one time I felt true fucking pain in my lucid dreams. It was really weird. And there's also a thing with like breaking your bones and cutting off a fucking finger. Once again, if you're doing any of these things, make sure you reality check and you're like sure you're in a lucid dream, because you're either gonna look like a fucking retard if you're in real life and awake, or you're gonna like kill yourself or some shit. So always make sure you're in a dream. And another thing with hurting yourself in a lucid dream is that you can do it to improve your dream control by making yourself realize the dream is really nonsensical after like breaking a finger or some shit. And so one time I wanted to test this because my dream control was really shit. So I became lucid, realized I was in a dream, and smashed my fucking hand against the wall. And my fingers all broke and were crooked, and it felt so painful. Like those are the only two times I've really felt true pain in a lucid dream. Getting beat up to make myself horny, which did not make me horny in that case, because I actually really hurt. Like I realized, wow, this shit isn't a game, bro. The other time I broke my fingers, and that hurts so bad, I was jumping up and down in the dream, bro. Anyways, that links in with the next one, which is to kill yourself. Kill yourself in the dream, bro. Once again, please make sure you're in a dream. Please reality check. And I've not actually done this. I've only been killed in normal dreams before, which a lot of the times makes me realize I'm dreaming because it doesn't actually kill me. But I've seen a lot of people will commit suicide in a lucid dream and see what happens. Sometimes they get sent to heaven. Sometimes they just wake up. Whatever it is, it may be interesting to kill yourself in a lucid dream, bro. The next one is killing dream characters / dream combat. So fighting dream characters and whatever. I've not done much of this besides when a dream character is like following me and like trying to kill me or some shit. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you need to be careful with this because dreams can obviously be really realistic. I remember one time in a normal dream, I killed someone by stabbing a screwdriver into their fucking head or something, because it was like an apocalypse dream and they were trying to kill me. And you know me, my dream recall is pretty vivid. And that shit was so real, I low-key like woke up kind of sick, bro. I fucking woke up kind of sick because of how real that was. Anyways, the next one is go to sleep. Once again, something I've not really done, but I've heard some interesting stories about this. Some people will go to sleep in a lucid dream, and it seems to them they enter into another dream, kind of some Inception shit, where they go into deeper and deeper layers. Of course, it's not actually another dream. It's just the illusion of being in another dream. But still, it's interesting. I remember one guy on Discord, this really cool lucid dreamer. I've talked about this before. He was trying to act out the whole plot of Inception in his lucid dreams by sleeping in his dreams. And then when he entered another dream, he slept in that dream and kept doing it and was trying to act out the whole movie of Inception, which I don't know, you probably watched that, but if you haven't, it's like people entering. I'm gonna stop yapping, Jesus fuck. The next one is magic and superpowers, okay? Magic / superpowers. This is, of course, talks about this is of course everything like going through walls, super speed, which is super fun. I guess flying could count as that. Fireballs and shit, turning things into ice, blah blah blah. That also links in with like slowing down time. Actually, no, I'm gonna make time dilation a kind of separate thing on the higher levels or whatever, because that's kind of another thing. But time travel, I guess, as well, you could count as this. I'm not really purposefully time traveled, but that is a thing you can do. Take drugs is another thing, because especially if you've done drugs before, your brain in a dream or lucid dream can replicate that shit perfectly, bro. Especially when I've smoked weed in my lucid dreams, because I used to smoke a bunch of weed. It was like perfect. And even if you've never done drugs in your life and still want to try drugs, it still, I think, could probably replicate that pretty well or give you a really good experience. I remember, this isn't really a drug, but I remember when I was younger and I first started tryharding lucid dreaming, I would always spawn a cigarette in my pocket. I would always spawn a fucking cigarette and smoke that, because I just thought I would look cool. Like, even though I'm in my own head, but whatever. And that's kind of another thing you can do as well, is spawn objects. That's one dream control skill that has never failed me. And I just go, oh, I forgot so-and-so was in my pocket. And I reach my hand in my pocket and pull out a cigarette or a phone or like anything. Or you can just go, oh, I forgot something is behind me or something is behind me. Spawning objects for me has always been really easy. Of course, that's super useful because you can spawn like jetpacks if you can't fly naturally. Or you can spawn remotes that can spawn other things or do other shit. You can spawn really any object in your lucid dream, so that's really fun. The next one I have is go on the internet. I've not done this in a lucid dream on purpose, but I've got lots of people suggest this, which is kind of interesting. Like, that's kind of fucking interesting seeing what your brain does if it's trying to replicate the internet. So that could be something fun to do. Now we go to level 3. Things start getting a little more interesting on level 3. Still kind of easy to do, simple things. The first one is listening to music. You need to do this shit, bro. You need to listen to music in a lucid dream. I remember kind of recently, I had a lucid dream where all I did was I became lucid and I heard this woman singing. And as she started singing, I started floating up into the air. And it was like the most heavenly shit I have ever experienced, bro, and ever heard in my fucking life. It was so good. It was just so good hearing that song. I don't know what it is, but your brain can make such beautiful, beautiful music. The next one anyways is Carry on a Dream, also called serial dreaming sometimes. And this is where you carry on a dream you had last night or a year ago or whatever. I have not really done this. And how would you do that exactly? I guess you could kind of spawn a portal and go to your last dream or whatever. Like I said, things start getting a little more complex here, but that is definitely a possible thing to do. Carry on a dream. Next one, oh my god, awesome. Change your sex, bro. Change your fucking sex. Have a sex change. And this is not really talked about. That's not really talked about that much. And I've only done it once actually, where I don't even know if I did it on purpose, but I was lucid and looked down and realized I was a fucking woman, bro. And I'm not going into detail on that, but you already know what I was doing. You already know the first thing I'm doing, bro. If we all woke up as the opposite sex tomorrow, you already know what we're doing. I don't need to say anything else, bro. I don't need to say anything else. The next one is trolling dream characters. Trolling dream characters, bro. Fun as fuck. And by that, I mean telling them they're dreaming or like, just telling them all they're dreaming or asking them weird fucking questions. One time recently, I started screaming to all the dream characters that they were in my head, and they all looked at me like I was fucking retarded, bro. It was fun as fuck. I love doing that. I guess kind of linking in with that is asking dream characters questions and just talking to dream characters in general. That probably should have been on the lower levels because that's obviously very easy. And if you know me, talking to dream characters, asking them if they're dreaming is like one of my favorite things to do in a lucid dream, bro. I love that shit so much. Next one is meditating in a lucid dream. Meditating. Now, I've not done this too much. Like, I've done this a few times, and I feel like it helped my dream control. It made my dream control better, I think, because I was just focusing on one thing and it kind of removed doubts from my mind. But I've heard of people meditating in a lucid dream and having really like weird, divine experiences and some shit. I don't know, but you can try meditating. The next one is level 4. The first thing of level 4 is telepathy. And by telepathy, I mean talking to dream characters mentally, if that makes sense. Because obviously dream characters are in your mind, so you can talk to them mentally. I've not really done this, but I've heard it's really interesting. The next one is making a friend. Making a friend in your lucid dreams, of course. One of my favorite things to do, because I'm fucking lonely, bro. One of my favorite things to do always. To do that, it's pretty simple. Like, you just kind of get a dream character, either that you've had a lucid dream about or a normal dream about, and give them a name, kind of think about them a bit, and then just spawn them in your lucid dreams. And you can have a lucid dream friend that you see throughout many, many lucid dreams. And I have several lucid dream friends, which I've talked about before, bruv, that I've seen over like several years because I'm fucking lonely and I'm retarded. But yeah, I just have several lucid dream friends. They're really cool. That's really fun. The next one is making a room or making a world. You can also make your own room in a lucid dream that you keep going back to. Like for me, I did this. I literally designed a room in real life, designed a portal to that room, and then spawned that portal in my lucid dreams, and I could keep going back to that room. The upper end of this is making what's called a persistent realm, which is a whole fucking world in your lucid dreams, bro. And that links in with the serial dreaming thing and continuing on a dream you had before, where you can keep going back to this world that you made that has rules and the story continues. That's kind of something the fucking like Chad lucid dreamers do, the ones that lucid dream a lot, because from what I've seen, that kind of requires a bit more experience. It's similar to the reality shifting thing. I do believe that reality shifting is just incubating a kind of persistent realm in your dreams, not actually shifting to another reality. Next one, time dilation. Time dilation, if you're able to do that, you need to try and do it, because that's something that's really interesting. And by time dilation, I mean, of course, sleeping for like 20 minutes, but the lucid dream feels like it's been going for an hour or two. Now, there are hour, sorry, my pronunciation is weird, don't laugh at me, but this is a very interesting thing. And all the methods for this, there's kind of no concrete methods for time dilation, unfortunately, because the only people who have done it are kind of more advanced lucid dreamers who seem to have their own personal techniques. But that shit's very interesting. And I've seen many stories, I mean, not many, a few stories of some really advanced lucid dreamers spending years in their lucid dream, and within those years doing anything they want. So that's fucking crazy. If you can like combine time dilation with like a persistent realm with like a fucking lucid dream friend, you have a whole life basically in your fucking lucid dreams, and you can make a family in your lucid dreams as well. Another thing, which is like, no one's gonna be doing this, okay? No one's gonna be doing this at this stage, but it's sending a message to your lucid dreaming friend. Sending a message to your friend. And I don't mean lucid dream friend, I mean real friend, because recently this company, what was it, the company REM Space, I think, did an experiment where they had two lucid dreamers sleep, and then they had sensors connected to their face, and using their face muscles, they kind of tensed their face and shit, which converted that into like a word, and it sent that word to the other lucid dreamer who was sleeping, so the two lucid dreamers could technically talk in their dream. So that's not really like a lucid dream activity. I just wanted to add that in because like whatever. The next one is to clone yourself. Clone yourself in a lucid dream. Bro, you already know what I'm doing. If I'm cloning myself, no homo, but you know what I'm fucking doing, bro. Like, it's not gay because it's a clone. But anyways, level 5, talking to dead people. I've never done this, but interesting thing to do. After that, seeing a new color. Once again, I've never done this, and I don't really understand this. Some people believe that this isn't possible, but I've seen a lot of stories about people seeing a new color, coming up with a new color. Obviously, they can't describe it to you because it's a new fucking color, but like apparently this is possible in a lucid dream. I don't know if that's true, but apparently. Okay, I'm not saying the next one. Okay, let's skip that. The next one, split awareness / having two dreams at once. Now, this is another thing that I first read about on a post about time dilation, where someone split their awareness in two. So it seemed like they were having two dreams at once, which kind of sounds weird, and I don't know how to really describe that, but it's like seeing out of two people's eyes, and since they were having two dreams at once, they could keep replicating their awareness and have 50 dreams at one time, which made it seem like they were time dilating. I don't really know if that makes sense, which is why I put it on level 5, which is the last level. But the next one after that is getting a dream character to control your body. Now, that's kind of fucking weird, right? But I don't even, like, I've never tried anything like this, but apparently this is possible. You get a dream character to, like, enter into your dream body and control you. And the next step up from that, which is the last one I wrote, which is what I thought about a while ago, which I wanted to try, but which is kind of fucking weird. And I suppose the only way you would be able to do this is if, holy shit, I should just kill myself with this stuttering, bro. The only way you would be able to maybe do this is if you were like fucking mentally ill or some shit, which is get a dream character to control your real life body. And I've only seen this mentioned once from some weird schizo lucid dreamer who wanted to send a dream character up to his consciousness, so when he woke up, he could really stay in the dream world and stay in his mind, but have a dream character, so another part of his consciousness controlling his brain, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense at all, because that sounds kind of fucking weird, but like that's kind of cool, low-key. I'm just saying that because I don't fucking like reality, and I would, you know what, I'm fine with someone taking over my body while I just stay in an infinite lucid dream of my lucid dream family. I'm totally cool with that. But that's all I have written. I couldn't think of like other things to do. Of course, I could have listed like a million fucking things, and they could have been really specific, but like, who fucking cares about that? Like, what's the point of that? But list me your favorite things to do in a lucid dream. Tell me your favorite things to do in a lucid dream in the comments. And do not join the Discord. Do not join the Discord. The SSS, link to the SSS super secret server is in the description. That's where we gatekeep information behind a paywall because I'm greedy and I need a private jet, bro. But farewell. Dislike the video. unsubscribe. Do not join the Discord. Farewell. I love you.